What's up, party people? Mr. ASMR Boy here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below and like this video. So, today I'm going to be chewing some Mentos gum. This is spearmint. Let's take a look. Let's go for number 2. So, today I am going to bore you, which hopefully is a good thing. It'll help you get to sleep, by sharing my college experience with all of you. So, I actually graduated from high school in 2009. I'm currently 29 years old, so I graduated high school slightly a little over more than a decade ago, and immediately after high school I enrolled in a community college, which was called Valley College, and that was in 2009. And so I started school there in August of 2009, and I majored in radio broadcasting. Since I was very young, I was always just entertained and inspired by the voices that I heard on the radio, on like top 40 and hip hop radio stations. And so I enrolled in a couple entry-level radio classes. I believe it was like entry-level audio production, and then a media writing class. And so my journey in community college actually lasted a little bit longer than was necessary, only because I suck at math. Like math, not meth, math. Math is it legit like almost held me back. So that's something I could say with confidence about myself right now. My current abilities and my current space in my career is that I'm a great writer, but I'm terrible at math. Like, I can do addition and subtraction, but when it comes to long, like algebra, it ain't happening, statistics, my mind legit just does not retain that information. So maybe some of you are like that too out there. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if math is your thing. Definitely not my thing, but so maybe you can relate. I couldn't pass college algebra. I literally had to take that class 3 times. And so since I took extra time, I ended up my time at school kind of got dragged out because I had to take that class. I took it literally 3 different times to finally pass. And so one of the semesters I kind of just joined a theater class, and that ended up being one of the most fun experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. And so it was like a intro. It wasn't an intro to theater, it was a acting and performing arts class, and so it was more of like a lab kind of class. And from that lab, our professor had mentioned auditions for the school's like big, or the college's like big play of the year or whatnot. And so me, myself, I'm always one to throw myself out there into any experience, whether I'm unsure whether I'm going to be great or awful or in between. I showed up to the auditions for Euripides' Medea, and it's like a Greek-Roman play, and I, me again, having my sights set very high, I auditioned for the main character, and I auditioned. I think we did like 3 different auditions. There was other people watching, like other students sitting in the audience when you went up to read your monologue. And a monologue is just like a few paragraphs of you basically acting, but a one-person act. And to make a long story short, I didn't get the main part, but I got the role of King Aegeus, which he was one of 6 principal characters in the play. So principal characters are like the main characters, so I didn't get the lead role, but I got a pretty solid secondary role, and that was literally my very first audition ever. And from there, I think it really like boosted my acting confidence and ability. And just to be upfront, like I have no desire to really get back into acting unless somebody like offered me $50,000 and was like, hey, here you go up on stage and make a fool of yourself. Then I would do it. But after like getting one of those spots in that play, which we got to like perform in, I think we did 5 shows that spring, and we did them in the like theater, and the theater was like very old, and I think if it's like 500 people, of course we didn't sell out like any of the nights. I think we probably had like an average of maybe about 200 to 250 people that came out to each show. A bunch of my family and a few friends came out, and that was a lot of fun. But what's interesting is this is supposed to be about my college experience, but it was my college experience. So after that, I also did like a couple student commercials. I also landed the role of Bates Boy in Stephen King's The Reaper's Image. So if you guys are really bored, just to fact check me, if you Google my name, which is Manny Boy Sandoval, I have an IMDb page, and so and this was during my college experience as well, obviously, and this was maybe around 2012. And so I had booked that, or not booked because I wasn't paid for the school play, but then I did that. I did 2 student commercials for other like colleges. One of them was Cal State Fullerton, and the other one was what's it called? Not UCR, Riverside Community College. And then I did the film The Reaper's Image, where I was the Bates Boy, which is the dead high school student who like got hit by a bus, and I kept showing up in mirrors. So that was that. And then I did a short film which was part of a 48-hour film festival called Coffee and Aliens, and my name was Josh Croto. And I feel like and then I also did a web series, which was like the 6th thing. And it was like almost like I felt, okay, I'm being very harsh and mean, not really mean, but it was almost like budget, 90210 Melrose Place type of thing, and but it was still a lot of fun and a great experience. So, as I said, I graduated high school in 2009. I kind of got held back from graduating due to not being able to pass college algebra. So in the meantime, I was like kind of focusing on math, but also pursuing some different little like acting gigs, which I think really built up a lot of my character and allowed me to be put on the spot a lot in life, because a lot of acting it's just all about continuing to go and reacting, and I think that really helped me in becoming a pretty solid like speaker, only because one thing that I learned that I still keep with me today is that the audience does not know what you are going to do. They don't know what you're going to say. So keep going. If you forget a line, if you forget a thought, just keep going, keep moving forward. It'll keep coming back to you. And so that's something that I have kept with me to this day, and it works whenever giving a presentation, whenever leading a meeting, and or making an ASMR video on YouTube. And so even my day-to-day work with my writing, everything, it's stuck with me and it helps. But I finally graduated from Valley College with an associate's in radio broadcasting in 2013. And so immediately after, well, not immediately, but I graduated in May of 13, and then in January of 2014, I got a job with a radio station called K-Frog. It is a country radio station. If you're from Southern California, you might have heard of K-Frog. It's a pretty popular country radio station, and I didn't have like that much knowledge or understanding of country music at the time, but I was just so happy to have been picked up by a station. Obviously I wasn't on air, but I started out as a promotions assistant, and this was obviously in between me getting my associate's and my bachelor's degree. And so this was also the first job experience in my field that I went to school for. So I think I was about maybe 22 or 23 at the time, one of those ages. And so I would go up to events, set up like audio and PA systems, and give out tickets to different concerts and events like Stagecoach, and play games with the listeners and assist the on-air DJs with their giveaways and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun, and I did that. To this date, that is my longest job. I held on to it for 5 years. In between, after that, I stayed with that same station, K-Frog, but I had another position, which was audio board operator, the one who's controlling the audio boards. And I did that there for maybe about 6 months, and then I effed up big time. I forgot to play like a whole set of commercials one night for a satellite station, and so they moved me back down to just doing promotions for the following 6 months. So at this point, I was there for maybe almost 2 years with the company, which is K-Frog. They were a part of CBS Radio, which is now Entercom. And so 2 years in, I interviewed for a top 40 radio station, which is still CBS Radio, so one of their sister stations, but in the top 40 market in Los Angeles, and it is called Amp Radio, so 97.1 Amp Radio. And I worked there for, whoa, my finger looked crooked. I worked there for 3 years. And I started off as an audio board operator, so they took a chance on me, and I did it successfully for 3 years. I never forgot to play any commercials for any different stations or anything like that. So yeah, I did that for 3 years as an audio board operator. I also got to like make mixes of music, emergency audio for if we ever went off air due to something happening with the satellite. And so I made mixes of music. I also gave away tickets on air, which was a lot of fun. I never had like my own show or anything, but it was a really cool experience to be working. I worked specifically in Culver City, and then our building kind of moved, our studio moved to Wilshire Boulevard in the Miracle Mile of Los Angeles. That was like my last year of working there, and so I missed that. But while I was working at AMP Radio in Los Angeles, I started school at California State University, San Bernardino, in the fall of 2015. And so this is, I mean, to this day, I still credit my college and university experience at Cal State San Bernardino one of the most gratifying and fulfilling experiences of my life. Still, you know, while I was going to school there, I really focused on the craft, and I think what I liked the most and what I enjoyed the most was being around so many people who are like-minded. And what was always interesting when I look back in hindsight is I feel like we all almost competed against each other a lot, which is, I guess, kind of healthy competition. But nowadays, I mean, at my current space in life, I'm like, if I gotta compete for it, they can have it. I'm not doing that. But yeah, while I went to school there, I wrote for the school's newspaper. I worked for the school's radio station, and I also interned with a public news channel. We shot a show called Local Matters, and I was one of the anchors for it for like maybe 6 months, from like January to June of 2016. Plus, I was also a audio operator for the school's events. So I kind of concurrently worked for the school and for the radio station at the same time. The school was just convenient because I was already on campus Monday through Friday, and then I worked at the radio station like all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then occasionally during the week, very rarely, and on holidays, which that sucked. But I was just so happy to be inside of a radio station, inside of a studio, working with audio boards and listening to music all day for a station that I actually listen to, and music that I enjoy. So but yeah, so I did all that stuff during my time at Cal State San Bernardino, and I started there in September of 2015, and I majored in mass communications with an emphasis in media studies. So for me, I got a lot of hands-on experience when I was there in areas such as radio, which I already had, writing, a ton of writing experience with the school's newspaper and different writing classes, creative writing, and a college writing class, and what else? News production. So I really got to learn and understand how to edit video and news segments on Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, which, fuck, Adobe is still so difficult. Final Cut's where it's at. And learning a lot about culture, communication, and ethics, and that's something that I feel like I've carried with me all these years later, and what I'm super inspired by is just connecting with other people and understanding other cultures, and just learning different perspectives of people from around the community, around the region, and around the world. So I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, and I have to say shout out to 3 of my favorite professors that I had when I was there. One of them, Mr. Mike Wickman, Dr. Miriam Betlemitsi, and the third one, Dr. Zala Volsik. She is from Sweden, I believe, and I kind of lost contact with her, the third one that I mentioned. And her class like just changed my life, and I had her for 2 different different classes. Both of them were about, like, damn, what was it about? Intercultural communication and cultural communications. That's what I had her for. And it's basically studying the communication from cultures around the world. And it really opened my eyes. And I'm super appreciative of her and that experience and everything that she taught me in the class. And she really inspired me to, I think, not only believe in myself, but believe that I can achieve more. And so, yeah, I miss her in her class. But so I graduated from Cal State in June of 2017, and then I went straight to work. I actually, literally a week after graduation, I got a full-time job as a news reporter for a community newspaper. So that was really like a love and hate experience for me. I was writing for a community newspaper called the Yucaipa-Cal-Mesa News Mirror, and it's a very conservative community, and someone like myself who is not ultra conservative, but I'm also not like ultra liberal either. I don't identify with either of those two sides. So that was a rough experience. I stayed there for 10 months and wrote maybe about like anywhere between, I would say, 14 to 16 articles a week. 14 to 16 articles a week. So I was hired as the lead reporter, and that job, it sounds amazing. Like, I'm the lead reporter. Like, that's a pretty big title. But I was the only reporter, the only full-time reporter. It was me and one part-time person. And so basically, I was writing like what felt like the entire newspaper every single week, like 22 pages, which is crazy. And I was significantly underpaid, and the benefits just kind of stank. But after that, I moved on into where I'm currently at right now, which is a current position working in public relations, public affairs, which is all about communications as well, but different communication pieces. Like I manage, I work with a Native American tribe, and I manage their social media. I write talking points for their executive leadership and their committees to when they go up to speak. I have assisted coordinating video shoots. I have coordinated events and assisted with coordinating and leading the Native American Heritage Committee for the organization and stuff like that. And so all around, it's just been a much more gratifying experience. And just because, I mean, for one, like, the pay matches my experience level, so I think that was what really settled it right there. Makes it a lot better on its own. But this segues into my next college experience, because the organization that I work for, they have a partnership with California Baptist University. So just to be straight up, I got declined from 2 universities after I got my bachelor's degree in June of 2017 in mass communications. Then following year, in 2018, I applied to the same school that I got my bachelor's degree at, and they declined my application. And the second school that I applied to was, I don't even remember what school it was, but they declined my application too, so I got declined twice. I mean, I was just trying to get my master's, but I think it ended up being somewhat of a blessing in disguise now that I look back in hindsight, because my current employer literally paid for about 70% of my master's degree, and so all I had to pay out of pocket was like $7,000, which is not much, especially for a master's. And so I started my graduate program in September of 2019. so last September, and it was a 12-month 8 different quarters. So literally every 8 weeks for an entire year, I started 2 new courses, and it was fucking awful. The program was great. It was an online program, but there was so much reading, so much writing, so much work on top of my full-time gig and my side hustle as a reporter. It was a lot, and so now that it's over, I'm super appreciative of it, and I will always be appreciative of that. And so I got my master's degree this past August, like August 22nd, and I got it in strategic communication. So all about implementing strategy when communicating to the public, the press, and in the workforce as well is what it covered. But yeah, and now after that, I literally have no other desire to want to go back to school. Every once in a while, somebody will ask me like, so are you gonna get your doctorates? I'm like, hell, maybe when I'm like 80 I'll get a doctorate, but as of right now, nah, it ain't happening. No, I think I got like way too many white hairs when I was going for my master's, and they're still there. But yeah, that was kind of my college journey. Very like crammed though. I went from my associates to my bachelor's to my master's, and so it all happened within. So it literally took me about 10 years to get all 3 degrees, but which is still like, I think, super solid, because the average person going to school for their master's degree, according to the internet, is 34 years old, and so I'm 29 and I got my master's, so I've completely finished all of my schooling by the time I turned 30, so I'm happy about that. And so I didn't even get to any of the college parties. While going for my master's, obviously, like, if I partied, it would be with friends. But when I went to Cal State and I was going to school for my bachelor's, my whole undergraduate program, I went to a ton of parties. That's gonna have to be for another video. A ton of wild parties. But yeah, I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I met there, and keep up and stay in contact with many of them. So but I am appreciative of all of those experiences, education experiences and professional job experiences that was in the past and in the present. But yeah, you guys, I hope that I bored you. I hope you were bored and that you were able to fall asleep. And I appreciate you for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know what your favorite color is. Super random, but let's just throw people off in the comments. Well, guys, it is dinner time. I am going to eat. I appreciate you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure to like this video, drop a comment below.